Yeah, it's a lot better. By like a few thousand. All right, Minnesota going up 10-0 against Seattle. 4 minutes in the third. What's up, J-Tim? Come have a seat.
I don't want to get too close because I got Jimmy John's.
Oh, it's all good. He's got Jimmy John's, people. We're just going to talk to him while he eats his Jimmy John's real quick.
NYPB, not sponsored by Jimmy John's. But
Not sponsored by Jimmy John's. They just got good
still
food.
yummy.
But I did want to bring you on because you were our first week's winner.
First ever champion.
First ever
You
champion
never take
down
that away
here.
from
You
me.
can't. So no matter how many times you may lose in the process, because it's been a little rough road for him, but he's not counted out yet. He's still fighting to prove that he still is a champion.
Shot the gap. Yeah, it's every game's been a close game. So
It's for sure. Even when I played you, it was a pretty
it's-
close game.
Every game I've lost by 3 or 4 points. It's been crazy, but it's good. All the games here are competitive, so that's good for the competitive scene.
I know this week you kind of mixed it up a little bit more, started picking a few teams you weren't familiar with as much, but
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I can't imagine going to a tournament every single week, picking the exact same person, expecting the same outcome every time. You know, I mean, like I said, the first week I went to Atlanta, the first few games, and I said to myself, I should have switched it up halfway through. I told you right before that game, I said, bro, think about picking the Raiders, but I'm just going to go with Atlanta. And I should have, dude. I think defensively would have helped me out more. I might have been able to cover the underout a little bit better. Honestly, haven't been seeing too much underout action this like tournament, to be honest with you, at least from the screens that I've been watching. A lot of more bigger plays, I'd say.
Right.
A lot of interceptions today.
How many we got watching?
Right now, well, I don't know because he doesn't have a plan.
Well, if you're watching, good for you. You can't see me play today because I already eliminated.
But, I mean, you're still out here. It's your third week coming out for a tournament. Relentless, I must say.
Every game's a close game. We got 3 of the top players from last week lost in the first round right away, so there's no.
Bro, Ramsey didn't even bother to come out like a chump.
So we'll count that as a loss too.
Yeah, it's a
'Cause
loss.
It's not a loss, but it's not a win either.
No. I mean, it's more of a loss than anything. He could have came out at least, defended himself. Defend your honor, Ramsey.
Right. I might have bought him Jimmy John's.
You might even have got Jimmy John's. Have a good one, Tim. Mr. Jamie Timmons.
Come on, hold on to the ball. Down 14-0.
You hear that, everybody? Atlanta is finally faltering. They are down 14-0 in the third, with 3:44 left. Minnesota's still playing it pretty big over here. Look at that try. Look at him in form. Teddy Bridgewater with the handoff. And a fumble. Oh, man. Seattle back with the ball. All right, Seattle. Thomas Rawls. About a 6-yard gain. 7-yard gain on the play. AJ playing a little bit closer to the chest on this one. Oh, they're going pretty good. I'm watching this game pretty closely over here. Minnesota's up 10-0 against Seattle. This game over here is kind of the same kind of outcome. You got 14-0 over here. It's pretty same on both sides. I wouldn't say a blowout, but I wouldn't say it's really close. I'd say that the defenses are playing pretty good on both parts, but on most parts, the offenses are playing a little bit stronger. AJ's not playing nearly as bad as he did last game. I don't even know if he's threw an interception yet. Last game he threw 4, so yeah. And these are the reasons why. Those are the reasons why right there. Going a little too big. Everybody, this is Jonah right here. Here, come on the screen. This is Jonah. This guy works here. He's more of a, I'd say, like a first-person type shooter kind of guy. Yeah, FPSs, yep. Been showing me the ropes on Battleground. It's a pretty sweet game that we're playing down here at the lounge.
That game's intense, though.
It is intense. I think we should try to get a calling tournament going or something like that. Maybe not tournament, just like get people down and
Let's
get
get that
calling.
game first, though. Yeah, but the game is really fun.
Yeah, calling.
Because we can actually have like everyone
I mean,
in the lounge
it's
playing.
literally just like the Battleground game, though. So I mean, it's not that much different.
Yeah.
I honestly think Battlegrounds might actually be better because there's a little bit more going on.
There is, and then also the map's a lot huge.
Lot
it's
bigger.
It's like probably like Culling's about like I don't know, a couple like
and
20
and
miles.
I'd say it
like
gets
20
smaller
miles.
pretty quickly.
Yeah,
like pretty quickly.
and then like the about to say like it's about the size of a good island or so. It's like the size of like.
I mean, you just don't. I thought that the game was just a solo-based game. I didn't know you could do like duos and you could do
I think
like
when it first came out, it was
squads.
just solo though, or solo and squad, and they added duos because people like.
Even for it being more of like a. Like the graphics not being the best, like the gameplay is really good actually. Like there's a
even,
lot
like,
of
the settings you can change.
like when I was saying to you, like, oh, can you do this? Like the third person view while you're spectating, like not being able to do that is huge. Like in Call of Duty, you can do that.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes like you got people cheating and stuff
So you
like
can do that in Overwatch when you do like 3v3s. You can help your buddy out, and you can even like do rotating completely behind.
Games these days, I'm telling you, I like how they're starting to add a lot more of like actual like endurance, like actual like momentum based, like one of the first games
in
that I
the
really
game
liked.
when you hold shift down when you're aiming down, you have a breath.
Nice.
So you can even like steady your breath like an actual you breathe in and your lungs empty.
Like one of the first games that I played that I really liked, that I thought a lot of like forward momentum was actually really involved with. Have you ever played Trials?
Trials Fusion, like the
Trials HD was the older one than that.
Yeah, I've tried Trials Fusion, but I've seen gameplay Trials.
I don't really care too much for Trials Fusion. I like Trials HD, but like when that was out on the 360, the momentum of it, like your body swaying and going back and forth, was very important on how you did it.
It actually followed
like
like an actual inertial law.
Yes,
so, like,
exactly.
Just, like, game gravity and game physics.
And I like that a lot of games are starting to like add real world physics into play and make it so
It's also
like,
really hard to do, and it's impressive to add it in the game.
It is. I mean, I've worked when I went up. I went to school up at Madison Media Institute. I spent a lot of time hanging out with gamers. I spent a lot of time hanging out with videographers, and I actually got a chance to like hang on the mocap studio and watch how they did some of that stuff. And it's pretty interesting how they do a lot of that stuff. And it's crazy, like when you come to the audio realm and like anything, it's pretty intense. But I would argue that like in terms of like intenseness versus like stressful, I would say gaming is probably one of the biggest because every little tick, every little movement, every little thing has something going on. In a movie, it's completely time aligned, where it's in a set spot and it's not moving. In gaming, you could be 3 feet from the spot you thought that sound was going to happen, and then it's happening over there. So you really got to be like keen to what you're doing and what you're like the sounds you're making, and then just to create the sounds in general is just like a thing in itself.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos of like how people like how they actually make sounds. Like there's a sound of like when they're actually like you hear like people's footsteps. They literally like there's a pan of like dust and they're like stomping their feet.
And then what we'll have to do afterwards is we'll take that. And we might have to take the audio signals and basically move them around just a little bit. Like it'll be the same audio signal. Like, let's say the length is like 3 seconds long. I can move that to 4 seconds long, but it might sound a little pixelated. I move it to 2 seconds long, it might just be like just something really quick. But it's just cool how much you can like manipulate like audio, or you can take like a bunch of sounds and make like just rapidly awesome sound or crazy different sounds.
You know Godzilla's roar? It's actually a guitar string. Like they took a sponge, I can't remember, they rubbed it against to make that roar. And then they edited that, which is really cool.
Like one thing that I think like I took a sound of like a chair moving one time and I modified the sound of it so it was more like a deeper like rumble,
That's
and I
cool.
added that as part of a sound within like a roar that I created.
That's
That
dope.
was pretty dope. There's definitely, like I said, manipulating sounds. Like you can take an audio signal, like you can take the sine wave, so like that, like white noise, like,
Yeah.
shh, and you can turn that into a wavelength, where it's like a constant sound. It's like, and then you can take that and you can turn it to like, or you can turn it like, all based on the sine length on which you like assign to it.
That's cool.
And you can actually assign more than one wavelength to it and have it do like multiple different things. Where it's cool. I'm telling you, audio field is a really crazy.
Yeah, I'm
field
still
to be
I'm
part
still
of.
blown away about just thinking about like when you put a headset on and you have the sound from like the wires transfer that sound into your brain. Even though all we're hearing when we speak, that just
And all it is
it's just
zeros
noise.
and ones being
It's just
pushed
noise,
through.
and then
Yeah.
just like and then you think about how it comes through and the way it vibrates the drum pieces, like just like, that technology in general. It's like no one ever thinks about it, but that's like insanely crazy to think about. Like,
is.
And they always like I always like put a CD in like for a movie or like a DVD that too. Like, I think about like this little disc holds an entire 2-hour like movie inside it.
I forgot what game I was watching, because I was watching how-to games on how some games are developed, and I can't remember exactly which game it was. And I'm not just going to throw out a name either because I don't want to be wrong. But they were so smart about how they designed their game. So you got your disc. Obviously, people know that the closer in it is, the less revolutions you have, or the slower the revolutions will be, you know. So as you get out, the faster and faster you'll have to spin to make sure it gets that revolution up. So there was a game designer that actually took the game and it pushed it out and put blank space in the middle of the disc to push out the actual game further. So when it gets read, it's on the farther part of the disc, so it reads it faster, so it can keep up with everything. Like that technology alone, like we're talking back in the day when this shit happened. Like that's like just advanced technology. Oh, Minnesota is taking it. I'm telling you right here, 17-0. Minnesota with the big play, nailing it in the coffin, if you ask me.
What's the score?
17-0. Minnesota just got the ball back with 1:43 remaining in the fourth. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked from the sports, talking about gaming, which is still very relevant in this field, obviously.
21-7. He's gonna win.
21-7 over there, so it looks like we got similar outcomes on each side. Atlanta finally falls short. But yeah, just like knowing that technology back then, they already were smart enough to know like you can just push it out to get more of a outcome in what you're looking for, which is that's just dope. Who would have really thought about that? Like nobody really would have thought about it. And it also like, and I'm not trying to cut you off, but another thing that was so important about doing that, it made it so much harder for somebody to copy the game.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Kick off your turn. Kick off your turn? Yeah. Kick off your turn. The whole damn field.
He just did that on you?
5 yards.
Oh shit! Right after you said 21-0.
21-0. 21-7 now. Oh, 27-7.
I'm just like most people like they're always looking down at their phone, not even realizing how much like I just respect technology so much. Like people don't even realize it. And just like, oh yeah, I have this, or they're born in this generation. Like I was born where track phones, flip phones, or like the smartphones are actually becoming a major thing
So,
now.
so out of curiosity, so I'm 26.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there's probably like an 8-year difference between us. You're what, like
17.
Right there, I was close as fuck. So right there, and I can, not that I'm like pointing out, but I can see it.
Yeah.
Like when I first met you, I thought you were a little bit older. You're definitely more mature than most kids your age, is how I'll put it.
Yeah.
You're like the round off of the millennials, I would say, like where you still understand.
I was born in
technology and stuff.
1999.
That's what I'm saying. So you're basically still a millennial, and I can tell that you lean more towards being a millennial than being part of that next generation. No offense, I don't get it. I don't, and I'm not saying anything is like a bad thing, but I wish that kids would want to go out more and do more stuff. Like
things like
or be a
I
part of
didn't
more
really, I didn't
things.
really have like much friends when I was younger. Like I didn't have any friends to do stuff with.
But that's something that I don't like hearing, because like, and don't take this the wrong way, like my little brother, for instance, like it's kind of his fault. Like he could have went out and reached out to people or tried to do stuff, but there's still that, like, because you don't interact with people as much as an awkward encounter. Like
Yeah, it's like speaking of this, like just in general, I went over to my friend's birthday party. I told you about like that the other day. We go there, like, Liam went to go do something, and then his friends, literally, so Matt, Robbie, and Connor. The first thing they do is all pull their phone. I'm just saying, like, I would rather have a conversation. It's like, so this is social interaction nowadays. I'm just like, I like when there's people there, I'm gonna talk to them. I'm not gonna just go on my phone right away. If there's people there, I'm gonna talk to you.
the only time I'm gonna be on my phone is like we're all hanging out, we're just sitting there, like maybe watching a movie or something. I might pop on, my phone, play a game or something for a little while. But no, like you're saying, like the whole interacting between people nowadays, the reason why I feel like a lot of like younger generation doesn't have, like, as they say, many friends, or when they do have friends, that a lot of them are all online based. Like, you've never even had a real interaction with this person other than a few words, and you don't even really know who they are half the time.
That was most of the friends I knew. Like, because I knew Liam from the art class, and then his friend Robbie through online, and then I met him in person, and it was actually cool to meet him in person.
And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you can build up great friendships that way, and later on you meet them and stuff like that, and it could turn out to be great friendships. I mean, I don't think yet that I've actually, like, met somebody online and then met them in person.
Yeah.
But I have done things like when I was younger, I played this game on my iPad, and it was just like a basic like trading game. Like it was a baseball game. It was like a trading card game. Essentially, there was no true benefit to it other than like collecting the players. Like I don't even remember, like the wins and losses didn't really matter or anything like that. Some lady hit me up and asked me if she could buy my team off me. I sold my team to her through PayPal for like $150.
That's dope.
I made money off of gaming from me just like sitting back, relaxing, chilling, having a good time. Like that's what I love so much about gaming is I don't feel like there's much pressure. And Minnesota takes the victory. But there's not. I feel like there's not much. I just wish our younger generation took more time to appreciate things. Like, take that time to interact with people because it's lost. Like, just taking the simple time to, like, smile at somebody, wave at them, say hello. Like, that could brighten somebody's day. Like,
we're asking, how are you and how are you been? It's like, because also, like, you know, like, when I was studying German, I went to German class, he's always talking about, like, there's, like, the story of, like, asking, like, hi in someone. Like, so basically just saying how are you to someone in Germany, you ask them like how are you, we learn down German. Like that's like the most important phrase in German culture is like asking how are you.
I mean, it should be
actually mean it.
It should be like that. Period. I mean, the thing is like one of the things that I enjoy most of all, and that's why I'm so happy to be kind of like doing this and being a huge part of all this, is I love people.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely love people. I love kids, and when I say that, why I love kids, and it's not even just kids. Why I love people. One of my favorite things in this world is seeing somebody who hasn't really done something or somebody who's unfamiliar with something and they give it a try. And you
they
just
fall
see,
in love with it?
Not even just that they fall in love with it. You see that whole, like, they light up.
Like they change.
They glow. Like, they
glow.
glow. Like,
Exactly
bro, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about, like, seeing that true passion behind them. Like, you could be the biggest a-hole in the world, or you could be a really quiet person, or you could just be, like very, like, shy, reserved. Yeah, introvert like that, but you do something and you really enjoy it, and all of a sudden, like, you could be the next best person at it, and you're just thriving, and you never even knew that you were good at it until somebody said, hey, why don't you give this a try, and then you're just thriving at it. But the reason why I make it so, like, pertinent with, like, kids and stuff like that is, like, that's the age where they need to get that feeling, where they need to feel that drive, that passion, that want, and that sense of community, wanting to reach out to people, be a part of stuff. Like, family is one of the most important things to me in this world. I don't have a big family, and I don't have a problem with that because it makes me understand and respect people more so for who they are, trying to interact with people, talk to them, get to know them on a more, like, singular level. I won't lie, though, I do have problems at times because I am in marketing and sales and stuff like that, that I have a tendency to sometimes generalize the population instead of being like, oh, like, some people, more like I'll be like all of you or all these people and generalizing them, which it's not an attack on anybody, but it's just like a way of trying to fit the needs of most versus the minority, which isn't always right. If, like right now I'm having a conversation with you, if I were to pull you in with a bunch of other people, it would be completely nonsense and not have much to do with it. Hey, what's going on with this over here? We need another game going on.
Let's see where Ian is, so you can set another game.
Ian, let's get an update on the tournament bracket.
Should we rate?
Yeah, we've been up and running for what, about a month now?
Oh yeah, I think about a full month. I think it's almost like maybe a month. Ian, does it make a month today?
Yeah, it's been a month and 1 week.
All right. So who's the last match we're waiting on for the semifinals? All right. I'm going to go over there and check out what's going on real quick. Get a closer look.